What's up, YouTube? I'm going to delve into Bitcoin, starting off on the weekly chart here, and I'm just processing everything that's happened in the last couple of weeks, and I'm trying to figure out if we do indeed head higher here, or we come down and maybe test this 21 EMA here at approximately 19,600. At the moment, you can see on the weekly chart that the stochastic RSI still has a lot of bullish momentum. So there is a high possibility that we do in fact bounce from current levels, because I do think eventually we test this area here, the 50 EMA and the 0.236 at a touch under 24,000 before this rally is complete. So yeah, we had a bit of FUD yesterday come out. I won't dive too much into it, but it kind of spooked the market a bit. But you know what? It was actually a blessing, because the market needed to come down and test key levels of support. So, and quite frankly, I don't think the news is too much of a black swan event. So yeah, you could say it was a bit of market manipulation by the mainstream media. Obviously, everybody had seen how quickly Bitcoin had risen in the last week, so yeah, they threw in a bit of FUD there to cause a correction, which is actually a blessing, I believe. So we're going to zoom in on the 3-day chart to have a closer look at where we find support in the short term. So yeah, but I'm going to stick to that forecast of this 50 EMA being tested in the next week or two. Heading over to the 3-day chart. Yeah, so stochastic looks overbought and forming a bearish divergence, but that's the first sign that we do come down. But I'm not, as I've said before in previous videos, I'm not the biggest fan of this oscillator. Like, I don't base my trades around this. It's kind of more of a guide for me. So so we have a new 3-day candle here, and we are basically at the top of the Keltner channel here. So you could either see this as being overbought, or we still have bullish momentum. And as you can see here on the 3-day chart, we have a 0.382 here, in line with the 100 EMA at around the same level as the key Fibonacci level on the weekly. So we've got the 0.382 there and the 0.236 here, around the same area. So key EMA here, the 50, and on the 3-day we have the 100 EMA and the 0.382. Also, you have this long-term 500 EMA here as well at 22.5. So yeah, I believe that we head up to these levels eventually, but we've had this massive impulse move and we're just getting a little bit of a correction here. Let's head over to the 2-day chart. So the current level of resistance is the 100 EMA on the 2-day chart. And yeah, we're just catching a bit of resistance here, but this candle so far looks pretty positive. We could come down to test a touch above 19,000 and then bounce. So I don't rule that out. You do have this stochastic RSI here, which has formed a bear cross and looks to be heading down, but it's really hard to judge here, guys. This move was actually easy to call, but now because we've actually had this move, becomes a lot more difficult to predict. So we have the 200 EMA here at a touch below 26,000. I think that's a long shot. Yeah, it's looking more like, using this chart here, if we flip these fibs around actually, so we'll turn on Fibonacci extension here, and yeah, we've basically gone straight past the 1.618 here, catching resistance here. So yeah, a lot of mixed indicator. This chart is very hard to read. We've got the 2.618 here at a touch above 24,000. So, you know, because we've broken above this golden ratio, that's actually a bullish sign that we get more momentum towards the 2.618 here. You've also got the 2 sitting around here as well. So that's a little bit above the key EMA on the weekly and the 3-day chart, but it's around the same area. So yeah, I still like Bitcoin to rally towards 24,000 eventually, but I think the next couple of days you're going to get a bit of sideways action here before we do head higher. Now let's head over to the daily chart, and you've got the 200 EMA here now. We're still above the 8 MA, so that's a bullish indicator. I'd start to become a little bit more bearish in the short term if we close above this 8 MA here. So this candle is going to be very crucial. We've still got a touch above 5 hours to go. So this candle is extremely crucial, this daily close. I'd like to see, for the bulls, I'd like to see a close above this 200 EMA and obviously above the 8 MA. So keep an eye on that daily chart here. That's going to be really crucial. And looking at the stochastic here, as you can see, we were overbought for days. This is why this indicator is not the most reliable, because, you know, if you were to trade off the stochastic, you would have started shorting here, right? And look at, you've had days of it just being maxed out before the eventual bear cross, and it's starting to come down and cool off. So that's why I'm not the biggest fan of this indicator. That's a perfect example right there. You've got this one as well. So you know, you can marry it up with the RSI and the MACD if you want, but sometimes for me those indicators can throw me off a little bit. I like to just look at the raw chart with the EMAs and the Fibonacci. So let's get this back up. So 2.618 here is a touch below 22.5 on the daily. So that's going to be a key resistance level. And you got the 300 EMA here at, there you go. You have that key level of 24K here. So there's a 300 EMA on the daily, sitting around the same level as the weekly resistance and the 3-day resistance. And finally, I'll head over to the 8-hour chart. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. 8-hour chart. So, yeah, the bulls really need to get above that swing high here for us to move forward. Alright, if you want to short the market because you're trading and you're expecting a correction, say down to a touch above 19,000, you probably want to keep your stop loss, yeah, a touch below 22K. and then you have your take profit down here at 19,000. So that's about a 2-to-1 odds in your favor for the shorts there. That's the risk reward. So you've got roughly 2,000 points on the downside and 1,000 points on the upside where your stop loss would be. So I call that a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. You've got key support here along the 0.236, and you have probably your target down here at 0.382 for the bears and the 50 EMA. So, but as you can see here, we're finding support along the 21 EMA. So there's a chance we do have another push higher here. And be watching this 8-hour candle to see if it closes above the 8 EMA. So, and looking at the stochastic here on the 8-hour chart, so yeah, we came all the way down here and we are turning bullish again. So this short-term indicator is actually predicting more upside. So yeah, mixed indicators on all charts, but my hunch is we do eventually move higher towards 24K. Alright, I'm going to wrap that up and we'll catch you in the next update.